Where are we at, Kate?
We are at Linden Hall.
Let's walk.
Wait, let's walk.
Woo. Woo. LH. Linden Hall.
We would like to welcome you to the palatial estate of the late Mrs. Sarah B. Cochran. Sarah B. Cochran was in the coal and coke business. She actually took her husband's business over after his death and the death of her son, James, in 1899 and 1901. Mrs. Cochran then lived in the little gym house in Dawson. She was grief-stricken at this time, and she wanted to get away from this area in particular, and she decided to take a European and Oriental tour. She left Dawson on tour in 1901, and she returned home from her trip in 1909. So she traveled 8 years collecting ideas to build a new home here in the Dawson area, which was this palatial estate. And Mr. Wilkins drew up plans, and 2.5 years later, and $2.5 million later, the lovely home of Linden Hall was conceived. We might give you a background, first of all, the grounds that we'll be walking around. And this 788 acre plot of ground was actually got by the Cochrans, or sought by the Cochrans, on a debt. There was a gentleman that owned the Cochrans, a fair amount of money, so they took this particular piece of ground here in the country of 788 acres. On the ground, as you'll be seeing later, the original home, the longhouse, is at the foot of the hill. And then in the later, after 2 years of owning the property, James Cochran, they built a lovely summer home called the White House. That is where our bar area is located today, and it has been torn down several years ago. Also, when the Cochrans bought this property, and Mrs. Cochran decided to erect the house, she wanted all the modern conveniences, running water and so on. So she wanted a gravity flow water system here at Linden Hall, and she did not have enough acreage or enough distance from the house for a good gravity flow system. At this time, she rented what they called the McGinnis property, or the McGinnis farm, over this direction, and this is where the water supply was held for the house. A lot of you people are Cottonville natives, and you can see the water tower from up on Springfield Pike as if you were looking at it standing here today. It was a lovely structure. Of course, it was burned several years ago as well. Back to the house, the home was called, the grounds itself, Mrs. Cochran called them St. James Park, after St. James Place in London. She visited there, she loved the surrounding area, and this reminded her of St. James Park. She named it St. James Park. The home itself, Linden Hall, she named because she lined the entire length of the driveway with linden trees imported from Berlin. When Mrs. Cochran built the house, she had 60 Italian stone cutters from Italy to work on the house. They quarried the stone right here on the property. The original roof on the house was the Italian tile, and it was replaced in 1976 when the United Steelworkers of America bought the home in '76 for $1.4 million. And they did the refurbishment at that point. Mrs. Sarah B. Cochran furnished the home from her travels. The lovely, in the next room, or first room you'll be entering, you'll see a lovely fireplace. And she was visiting with the Rothschilds at the Rothschild Castle in Germany. She saw the fireplace, said it was so beautiful, and Mr. Rothschild decided he would just give her the fireplace for her home. So you'll be seeing that in the first room you enter, the Rothschild fireplace. It's quite a magnificent piece. Mrs. Cochran moved into the home December 25th, 1913, or had a gala celebration here to dedicate the home. She was a very superstitious lady, so she would not move into the home until 1914. She did not like the number 13. And moving from into Linden Hall, she lived a reclusive lifestyle here, we might say. She did a lot of entertaining here in the home and the Great Hall area, but she was never the main source of entertainment. She had a staff of 8 live-in maids, 2 men servants that worked the home, and they did most of the entertaining for her. She would sit on the staircase of the Great Hall on the second floor landing, sort of waved to the people, acknowledged them, but never got down to the main source of the people in the Great Hall area. Mrs. Cochran was a very benevolent woman. She gave millions of dollars to Allegheny College in Meadville and various institutions around the area here. She was quite a philanthropist of the area. Mrs. Sarah B. Cochran loved her house. She had everything you could need in a home, as we do today, but she had central vacuum cleaning in 1913, 8 living maids, 2 men servants, a chauffeur. The first year Mrs. Cochran lived here, she was quite disturbed because they had a very large coal furnace in the house, and the coal furnace blew up and sent smoke throughout the home, and she decided that would never happen again. So she had a carriage house with a chauffeur down below the house, and at this time she had an underground tunnel dug. She had the furnaces put in the bottom of the carriage house, the heat pipes brought up underground through the tunnel. So if the furnace erupted again, it would send all the dirt to the carriage house and nothing here to the main house. The tunnel was also very convenient in bad weather when she had to go to her limousine as well. There's been various families living in the carriage house over the years. The Durbin family from Cottonville lived there the last. Marguerite Durbin, some of you folks may know her, was married here in the Great Hall as well. There's been a lot of change in the past few years here at Linden Hall. In 1976, of course, when the steelworkers bought it, they refurbished the entire house, and it ran as a tourist attraction for many, many years until it started to sort of decline, the steel business declined, so on and so forth. So the tours were sort of eliminated the last few years. But we are hopeful of regaining the tours again. We do have, you can see the crane outside, we've had a lot of damage from the bad roof that's on here. We are having a new roof put on here in the near future. So as you're touring today, you were unable to go to the servants' quarters, which was on the 3rd floor. They are closed because of renovation, but you will be able to go through the main floor, 2nd floor, and the basement areas.